Yeah.
And so now I feel like it's my job to watch over them while I'm there. I mean, I don't stand around and, watch them the rest of the time.
Yeah, right.
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do feel that way. Sometimes I'm like, oh, is somebody going to look at me weird?
Yeah.
And I just feel like I have to watch and make sure that somebody's not doing that. And so that's my biggest issue that I deal with right now. And so when I've talked to police officers, firefighters, we do a great job of doing, as the Bulletproof Mind audio set we were talking about earlier.
It's really good.
He talks about basically having group therapy where you talk about the incident because someone may have seen or know something you don't know.
Right.
And that's good, but it's really hard to open up in that setting if you don't trust other people. Yeah. So I'm a big advocate now for counseling. And so I like to talk to officers about that and hoping that they'll get counseling to deal with things before it builds up to a breaking point after that.
Right. I mean, even in, therapy that's not related to, a job like that, we often seek it whenever it's like things are breaking down and my life's in shambles. I need therapy. It's like, yes, but you also needed it, 6 years before that to be able to, utilize it better whenever you do get it.
And for some people, it's the incidents they see at work are triggering things from their past that were personal.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's something that,
look, people have issues and they didn't actually see anything terrible. It's just general life, and you have issues that you probably should get some therapy over.
Like some of the officers that were, I wish I could have been there. I wish I could have helped. They deal with that. Yeah. So,
but that comes from something.
It is
that you probably. I mean, most people don't deal with their demons. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you just don't.
And that's why I encourage officers to put aside that macho, that ego of I don't need it. No, you need it.
Yeah.
One good example, and of course now my mind's going to go blank. Travis Howes.
Okay.
If you ever heard of Travis Howes, he does a show, a promotion that he goes around and offers to police officers, any kind of
cool
first responders. It's called the Post-Traumatic Purpose.
Oh, I dig it.
I don't know if you remember back in 2018, but there was the big Charleston Supercenter fire where 9 firefighters were killed.
I remember that.
He was one of the firefighters that had to go recover.
We were actually just down there for some stuff with my youngest kid, and I think it was the anniversary of that. There was like a bunch of stuff going on.
Yeah. Well, he was one of the firefighters in that, and so he's actually been interviewed on the Sean Ryan show. That's when I first heard about him. But he goes around and does these full day seminars where he talks about it, and he's what you imagine a man's man, and big, fit, plays sports, all that. And so he tries to use that as, hey, look, even I realized I need to go get counseling.
Hey, man.
You need to as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And counseling can be all kinds of different forms. Where my most recent is the VA has a traumatic recovery or trauma recovery program.
Yeah.
And so you meet once a week, but then you have homework the rest of the time. So you're writing, you're analyzing, you are putting yourself in situations that you can work on some of the techniques and tips. So I'm in a phase now of that where I'm released from the program while we try and work on it myself and then go back and talk with the counselor again. But that's why I'm trying to be open about it, because anybody can face something and you need to be open enough to want to seek the help. You need to open up and get better and look at your situation and maybe something that drives you towards it. Because for me, what finally broke down and made me join this program is I found myself becoming more and more distant from my kids and my wife. When we would have get-togethers, I found myself getting overwhelmed. I found myself, getting uptight and not wanting to interact. Or when we're out in public, I've tried to start doing things a little bit more. Like we went to a Fireflies game the other day. I'm trying to put myself in situations where I can work on those techniques and get better.
Yeah.
It's always, and probably always will be, a work in progress.
Right.
But that's what triggered it for me, is the fact that I was losing that with my kids and my family. And so I took on this, and even they've talked about the significant change and improvements we've seen. So I really hope that.
I love how you guys put it. I love that. It's a program I'm working on. You're working on yourself, bro.
It is.
It's all good.
It is. I guess it's the program I'm following.